There's most of the nails that came out of those bits of wood. The rest of them are on the floor. So the next step's to start cutting up the wood. We'll start with the frame, to be mostly the turpentine pieces of wood, which is the one I think is a turpentine. The legs and the rails, so we can build the frame, and then from the frame we can move forward. So we can find this piece and then start processing it. Before we start going through the thicknesser, to make sure all the dust extraction, these things just generates a lot of dust doing this, and it's an enclosed space. It's really bad for your lungs. So this is the one that's connected to the thicknesser. So we have a look, you can see it's already full from the last effort, so I've got to empty that one. And then I run another system. You can see up and over the top, runs down, and then inside that box is another vacuum cleaner. I use that on my table saw and other components. The other thing I run, which is an air quality meter, so it shows me the dust at different levels. So depending on what's happened, I'll switch that on to see what the dust content's like. And I'm obviously wearing a mask, one of these, and ear protection. Think about whenever you're spray painting, this meter, just normal spray paint you buy from Bunnings, these the air quality index just goes through the roof, as in bad. It's incredible how much stuff that generates. So if ever you're doing a spray painting, you want to make sure you get a mask on. So these are a bit long to run through the thickness alone. The machine's not really big enough. It's a bit dangerous because it's unwieldy and it's heavy, and if it tips or does something, there's a good chance the thing can fall. It's actually big enough to tip the whole thicknesser over. So I'll cut it up. It looks like, because we're making the legs and the rails, it's 25 and 18 inches, and that's all that's going into this, so I'll overcut them into the two sections and then run those through. Don't have a lot of space actually or support out there. That's going to be fun. Let's see what happens. Now, before that, I need to change blade. This is a fine tooth blade, 24 tooth. Extractor fan as well. I only have a limited number of power supplies, power cables and controls. This little thing controls different. Whenever I swap machines, I swap power as well. 1¼ square. So, what have we got? So cut down the middle. It's 1½ inches, a bit under. This side, 4 inches. 3 3/4. 1½ and 3. Maybe I've got some wood at the end I can do something with. Set up. Powerful table saw. This one. Need a vacuum dust extraction for the table saw, which is that one. This bit, we do need these, and probably this. Cut this in one pass. No. Maybe I'll do that half. Cut this way first. Let's do that. I really should be doing this on a bandsaw. This table saw is a little bit too small for that. The next one's going to be worse. So that's one cut. Another one to go to get this one down to size, and then cut through the middle. This will be much easier. This will be another bugger. The other one I'll just do in half, I think. Oh no, that'll just go in half. At least this reduces the cut. It's a little bit hairy at times. Ended up with 2 3/4 inch pieces, which I need 3/4 later, so they may come in handy. I thought I was running out of wood. I've just saved a little bit. Something else. Now, same thing. So we're going to tip it over. Now we'll run them through the thickness a little bit. Need to get all the dimensions the same because they're not square. So until they're square and the right dimensions, we can't start building a frame. might do, normally I build one and then the next one. See those go down a little bit. What I'll do is I'll prepare the wood first, so at least I know it's consistent across the two of them. The reason they're left a little bit long is that when they go through the thickness, the ends tend to just grab a bit and it takes off too much, so I usually give a little bit more so that the last bit that goes through ends up being the right size. Now these need to be 1.25 inches. Currently sitting at 1 3/8, which is good. So I'll get those down to close to 1.25 inches, but not exactly. So then I've got a little bit of room to dust does all that generate? Let's have a look. That's not too bad. Let's see what comes on the filter. Sixteenth of an inch, which is about 1 millimetre, so that gives me enough wood to plane them. So I'll put them all next to each other and plane the surfaces so they're all nice and flat, and then cut into lengths and then start making the frame. If you have a look, you can still see imperfections. You're not going to get perfect wood from these. They're nail holes. They'll still show up. Probably try to put them on the inside, or where they don't show so much. There's another one there. And then use a clean face like this one for any of the outside areas. Inside it really doesn't matter. The other thing with this wood, and you saw from the dust, it produces a really fine dust because the wood is so old, and it goes everywhere. It goes all through the workshop. Anything that's stored under here is just covered in dust. The cars, it goes through into the garage, it possibly goes up into the house, I'm not sure. But on top of everything there's a layer of fine dust that just sits on everything around, on the tops of these sorts of things, on the top of here, all this sort of stuff. I'm not sure what else I can do. If you use a fresh wood, a new wood, it doesn't do that. It's a much cleaner cut because either less dense or not as dry. I actually don't know, but this stuff pretty much turns into dust rather than shavings. It's a little bit what it would look like with finish on. See how the colour darkens and goes a little bit red. The brown ones will be on the inside, so it'll only be the cut wood that will be towards the outside. The exposed wood, if it doesn't come up clean, it'll go on the inside, so it'll all be this reddish or red colour. Rails, cross rails, legs. Next activity is to plane them down. They're pretty close to the right size, but I prefer to use the plane to finish them. The grain on that one. It's behaving as though it's wet. going right to the width is sometimes pieces come out not absolutely square, and this one, some are, some aren't. I'm not sure why, maybe they bow or something in there. So this one's a little bit high on this side. What some people do is tilt the plane, but that's too hard. So what you do is you start off at the edge and you take strips and then you go a little bit further in. A bit further, a little bit further, covering your tracks each time. When I get them all framed up, I want to try and get the grains going in the same direction, so we're planing the one way and they're opposite, they go against each other, it makes the planing a bit harder. And then I have to square off the ends.